Imagine a world where there is no sunlight. Grass and plants have long gone extinct, and with them, animals disappeared as well. Organic life was replaced by cold and soulless silicon. Wherever you find yourself, in whatever direction you decide to go, you will always know that high above you and far below you lies yet another floor. Floors filled with nonsensical rooms, tangled staircases with thousands of steps, and dangers lurking in the cold darkness. This is a world where human progress has triumphed over nature and the laws of physics. A world stripped of life, ruled by ruthless pragmatism. This world is the megastructure. The events of the manga Blame take place in the distant future. Humanity has overcome all limits of flesh. People in the era of rapid progress learn to control the very fabric of reality, ascending to a new stage of existence. Flesh was replaced with steel, neural links with wires, and mankind stepped onto a new level of being. At that time, the project known as the City was created, a monument to scientific progress, endlessly expanding, already stretching far beyond our dying planet. The structural foundation of this project became the megastructure, the building itself constructed from a mind-bendingly strong material. Mighty builders, tireless and indifferent, continue to add new levels, and their colossal steps lead them forward without end. They build layer after layer, another and another. They will continue until there is no place left in existence unclaimed by the human race. And although we do not know the true boundaries of the megastructure, everything suggests that it grows without stopping, as if capable of consuming the entire system and everything beyond it. And at this pace, nothing stops it from surpassing the size of the galaxy or even the universe. It's really only a matter of time. At the same time, cold-blooded and pragmatic defenders ensure that this process is never interrupted. Their blades are ready to be stained with blood, and long-range weapons of massive destructive capacity are always aimed at anyone who dares to interfere. This entire campaign, demonstrating the supremacy of reason over nature, is supervised by the governing agency, a secretive organization of the best and brightest human minds. Their commands are transmitted through the net terminal gene, a special genetic key that enters through the net sphere. It sends signals to the mindless builders and defenders, granting full control over the automated expansion of this gigantic construct. But at some point, the gene was lost, or even destroyed, due to an unknown virus, spread by a cult later known as the Order. And with the gene gone, humanity lost control over the builders and defenders. And Silicon Life, a new species of cybernetic human, began hunting down and exterminating carriers of the net terminal gene. The former architects of the city became its hostages. The expansion process became uncontrolled. All that is left is to drag out a meaningless existence trapped inside a gigantic cage of wires and steel. The plot of the manga revolves around the search for a bearer of the gene, and I highly recommend you read it yourself. But in this video, however, I want to talk about the monstrous megastructure, endlessly expanding and without control. Several thousand years have passed since the loss of the gene, and by the beginning of the manga's events, the city appears as a monstrous accumulation of metal layers. Layers stacked on top of each other with staircases, rooms of different shapes and sizes, and cables powering both dead and inhabited sections. Habitable constructions exist as vertical pillars inside an enormous void of levels, because that is the only way to reach a higher floor. Different levels have their own cultures and architectures. On one level, settlements resemble hives. The safeguards there resemble V's, showing that forms and conceptual templates vary. We also see one type of builder, an iron giant reminiscent of Ava-like mechs, hundreds of thousands of times bigger than a human. Yet even this titan is merely a grain of dust compared to builders outside the city, expanding the megastructure. On another level, Killy encounters an epistemic civilization defined by the brutal exploitation of human labor. The level appears as a dense city of small residential constructs and one vast research institute, the only building tall enough to reach the next level. Inside, various activities occur, including organ transplantation to prolong life. Donors are captured and transported by barges. The pilot of one such barge agrees to take Killy to the institute. This episode makes it clear that life in the city has become a resource, like everything else. Another notable location is Toha Heavy Industry, a vast factory long non-functional. Divided into 13 caves, each ruled by its own AI and overseen by a central AI, here the motives of Silicon life become clearer. Cybernetic beings born by viral spread hunt and exterminate other forms of life, hoping to become the dominant species within the city. Obviously, there is an uncountable number of such levels given the scale of the megastructure. So, how large is the city itself? While there is no exact answer, we can assume it is roughly the size of our solar system. In the prequel Noise, it was stated that 3,000 years before the end of the prequel, the megastructure had already consumed the moon. This implies the city gains 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers per day, roughly. Since the city continues to expand, some fans theorize that builders dismantle planets as construction material. Therefore, Earth's satellite, and likely most planets, no longer exist. A supporting detail, Keely enters a dark spherical chamber 143,000 kilometers in diameter, roughly the size of Jupiter. Its interior volume could contain over 1,300 Earths. Even 8 billion people would occupy a microscopic fraction of it. Statistical noise inside a vacant service compartment. There's also a secret section, the Unofficial Megastructure, unused and abandoned. Vast halls and thousands of kilometers of empty rooms provoking liminal anxiety. Terrifying robots and cyborgs sometimes appear of unknown origin and threat level. A place without a map, without life, without meaning. Whatever happens there will remain untold, held forever by silent, indifferent walls. The city is chaotic. People without control are forced to exist with no hope that tomorrow will be any better. Some people live in slavery under more advanced beings, and others survive in suffocating tunnels drilled to deliver power to now dead industries. Despite the hopelessness, the city does not recognize that it must stop. Layer upon layer keeps accumulating. Dead space is filled with dead levels. Philosophically, I see the idea as a city of the heat death of the universe, a state where temperature equalizes and entropy becomes so high that nothing can change. In this analogy, the city consumes the universe, slowly, but inevitably. And this consumption is only a matter of time. But when there is nothing left to build, what awaits the city and its inhabitants? Any hope of leaving the megastructure will be lost, and everything that once drove humanity, curiosity, power, hope, will vanish, and life will lose all meaning, becoming a cursed existence in a cold, soulless prison of concrete and steel. A fate more terrifying than any heat death, the entropy of desire and aspiration.